Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my very first vlog, a vlog that I've probably been meaning to do for 15 months now. We moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in August of 2019, and for half of the time we have been in a pandemic. So it's been an interesting move to be in a new city and navigating all the newness for our family while we aren't able to do new things every day. But needless to say, it was one of the best moves that we could have done, especially for the time. There are a million parks in the area. I think we drive to 6 parks within 5 to 10 minutes, and we can walk to 2 within 10 minutes. So if you want parks, if you want space, if you want bigger homes, this is the city to move to. I read the other day that 120 people a day continue to move to Charlotte, and that's regardless of the pandemic. The jobs are still here, although not as many, obviously. They are still hiring. I see a lot of jobs on the job boards, and most companies are still trying to figure out what their future looks like, so not everybody is getting let go all the time. So in that way, I think the opportunities are still driving people to the city. And honing in on a neighborhood probably was the hardest part of the transition. We didn't get to visit before moving. We didn't have that time, that luxury. So I did a lot of Googling, read a lot of different blogs about what Charlotte was like, what people were saying, where should you live. And the most important thing I got out of that was budget. So in order to really choose a neighborhood, you have to know what numbers you're working with. Charlotte is so spread out that if you could end up somewhere that is completely over your budget, just because it works for your lifestyle doesn't really mean that it works for your bank account. And I am not somebody who lives over my means, so I like to live within, sometimes slightly above, but within my means for the most part. So I really did, I don't know, 30, 40 hours of reading all about Charlotte. It was a lot. And you have to realize what you really value. And I think that's where people go wrong in how they choose a neighborhood. They don't really sit and really digest what they value in life. Is it time? Is it money? Is it their children, their spouse? How do you navigate and spend time on the things that are very important to you? And for us, it was no commute for a job, because it's important for us to all try to be home for our chaotic dinner with our kids. But that's important. You know, it was something that I wanted for my children. I want there to be, you know, a full house every evening, even if it is a bit crazy. So no commute was a big one for us. Schools as well. You never know how long you're going to be in a neighborhood. Most people move around a lot these days because jobs aren't what they used to be. So everyone's kind of searching for their next big opportunity. But we knew we'd at least hunker down for 2 years. So for us, it was about schools, probably just as important as time. So you want to get to work quickly. You want to have access to some of the best schools readily, and you can kind of, between budget and schools and commute, really hone in on a neighborhood. And that's probably the best way to do it. So for us is, it took a lot of options away. We just were left with maybe 2 or 3 neighborhoods. So it's a little bit like if you've ever been to Denver, you know, you've got the city of Denver, and then you have so many little kind of cities that span off of that. Charlotte is very much the same, and Charlotte feels like Denver felt 15, 20 years ago, before the really big boom and all the housing prices started going crazy. And Charlotte feels a lot like that, where people are moving here because they see the opportunity to buy and to grow and build their wealth and build their lives. So they're moving here to begin that. And it's a great city to do that, because so many people are moving here from so many different parts of not just this country, but the world. It's diverse. For the most part, but diverse in the sense where there's a lot of technology and banking and healthcare here, and that's what dominates the city. So you're going to get a diverse group of people moving here from very different backgrounds. You know, everybody on our block is different, has a different story, and it's really nice. You know, you've got people that have been in the neighborhood for 25 years, and it used to be, you know, a baseball park, and now basically, you know, you've got people like us that just moved in a few months ago, and you know, we've got our own story. So you've got a lot of old with a lot of new, and the housing as well. You've got a lot of the older houses that are getting remodeled or completely torn down, and a new one going up. So it's very much like what the Denver area used to look like and what it is probably going to become. Which I can't tell if it's a good or bad thing. I think part of Charlotte's charm is that it still has this smaller town feel that is, you know, doesn't feel as overwhelming and feels like you can get to do everything and not feel sort of stressed about, do I need to go here? Do I need to do this? And obviously with the pandemic, you're not doing that much anyway, but it's just a really, really good city to get embedded in quickly because there's so many people that are brand new that everyone's kind of open to new friendships and new possibilities. And so the energy of Charlotte feels very fresh and continues to feel that way even with what's happening in the world. So anyway, so like I said, what I would hone in on is budget, commute, and school. And those top three things really helped us decide. And really, the budget is one of the biggest driving forces because, you know, even if you don't want your commute to be more than 45 minutes, then, you know, you have to live somewhere where you can afford to feed your family. So I think that's really, really important. And we basically chose to stay as close to uptown, is what they call it in Charlotte, not downtown as they would say in different cities, as close to uptown as possible, so that way my husband can get to work within 20 minutes or so. And if he drives, it's I think like a 7-minute drive. So, and we're close to the light rail as well. And that was something else that if he wasn't driving, or I could drop him to the station after we dropped one of our kids off to school, then he could just take the light rail, and it took less than 10 minutes. And that's just really nice to have access to something like that, especially with parking always being so expensive in downtown areas of any city really. So, and that's how we chose where we wanted to live. And so far, so good. I just think that doing your due diligence is the most important thing. You know, I think some people might push you to live in a different area because they say it's really great, but it's not for everyone. I think you just need to figure out kind of where you fit and what you really value. And I'm really happy with the area that we chose. We made friends really, really quickly. Our kids are happy in their schools. And I just don't think I would have chose a different area. And I'm glad that we ended up here. With that said, real estate goes really, really quickly in every neighborhood in Charlotte. I know that some people will have the luxury to visit neighborhoods that they want to live in before they move. But the reality is visiting these neighborhoods is never going to really give you an idea of what it's really like to live there. You're not going to sit in your car for 15 hours and see what the activity's like and what people are around, and it just, you have to live in there. So we rented for the first year, and I think that's also really, really smart. And you can kind of see if it works for you, if it's functional for you, if it's affordable for you. And I think that really helped us decide whether we wanted to stay in the neighborhood and buy. And we, you know, we could live in a lot of different places in Charlotte, but we were embedded in this area so quickly that we decided to stay, and we like it. Anyway, hope this video helps somebody decide, or at least helps them get started on what you can do, what kind of research you should do, and what you know, should kind of look at in your life to decide what area to live in. Hope you all have a good day. See you soon.